All right, now we're live. Welcome back to the Chargeway podcast. I'm your host, Ed. Got a very special guest today. I was going to introduce you as Mr. Alessandrini, but I don't think I've ever called you that in my life. Have you ever been introduced as Mr. Alessandrini?
No.
So
It's too long.
Yeah, way too long. Yeah. We've got Coach Ben with us. Ben, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, Ed. How are you?
I'm very good. Is this your first ever podcast?
This is my first ever podcast, so I will do my best.
How are you feeling about your podcasting career now that we're about 17 seconds in?
We'll see.
Okay. So we're doing a series, folks, on getting to know your coaches. Of course, Ben is a Charge legend, been with us for a very long time and a very senior coach, and it's going to be a good chance to get to know him. Ben, we're going to start from not the very start. How'd you find? Actually, don't tell us how you found CrossFit. I would love to know what type of role fitness played for you growing up. Like, were you into sports or physical activity? Like, tell us about your childhood with that stuff.
So my dad was big on getting me and my brother into some sort of fitness. He started us off playing soccer and cricket from the age of 5.
Cricket?
I was terrible. I was so bad. I think the highest score run I ever got was like 5. I just could not hit the ball, nor could I throw very well either. So
that's not a great skill set for cricket then.
Yeah. But I quickly stopped that and I kind of picked up soccer and did that pretty full on from the age of 15 to 17.
Well, for those who don't know, there's obviously some Italian heritage with Alessandrini in there. So, when did you stop playing?
When I was 17.
Oh, that's pretty late. So, did you play it pretty competitively then?
I used to train a lot, like 4 to 5 times a week. So that kind of got challenging with schooling, etc.
Sure.
But that was kind of my focus at that age.
Mm-hmm. And this was all taking place in Perth, by the way,
yes.
obviously. So you grew up in Perth?
Yeah, I grew up in Perth. I was there till I was 21. But yeah, I guess in terms of the soccer, like I got to a pretty high level where I got to try out for the state team. Unfortunately, I missed out by one place.
What could have been?
But no, as I got a little bit older, I kind of realised that even though my dad had given us opportunities to play these particular sports, it wasn't really what I wanted to do. So I didn't really enjoy them as much as I maybe should have or could have. I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people play sports when they're younger. They're just like, I just sort of fell into things, and then just that's what you end up doing. Now I gotta ask. I don't know when it appeared in your life, but ballroom dancing and your general moves that we all know of in the gym. Tell us where the roots on that come from.
No, I think, once I finished soccer, I was kind of in this weird stage of my life where I wasn't sure what I wanted, but I was kind of starting to make my own decisions, and I kind of just decided that I wanted to try some dancing, and I took myself to an adult ballroom dancing class on my own.
How old were you when you did this?
I was 17.
That's awesome.
And I don't know, I just started picking things up really quickly in the classes to the point where the beginner classes were too easy. But I met a girl there who had done a little bit of dancing before, and she had done some competition, and she noticed that I was dancing quite well, and she said, would you like to do some more private sessions outside of this? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then after our first session with a private teacher, they were like, you guys should compete.
Wow.
So yeah, it just kind of happened really quickly.
How much competing in ballroom dancing did you do?
So I think I did it for 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, just because I'm learning about this right now, what's a ballroom dancing competition like compared to a CrossFit competition?
Oh gosh.
What's more nerve-wracking, the first workout of Club or the?
Definitely Club. Yeah, there's something about CrossFit competitions that are definitely nerve-wracking because of how much effort you have to put in. But not saying that you don't have to put effort into dancing.
Sure.
Dancing was always nerve-wracking too because you always wanted to win. But challenging industry to be in. But yeah.
When did the timeline? I hope I get right here, but dancing sort of phased out before or after leaving Perth?
Phased out when I got to Melbourne.
Okay.
Yep.
So probably at the same time then? Like when did you get to Melbourne?
I came to Melbourne when I was 21.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what year that was now, long
Yep.
time ago. To continue some dancing. There wasn't really anyone left in Perth for me to dance with at the time because I was looking for a new dancing partner.
Huh.
But I had someone over here that was interested, and then that was one of the reasons I moved over to Melbourne, essentially.
Really?
Was to dance with this particular girl.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and we danced together for maybe 1.5 years, and then
We've got a technical malfunction here. My watch is going off. Keep going.
and then we kind of ended up finishing things, but yeah.
Awesome.
Things changed for me. But I think I also had the opportunity to do some coaching, which was sort of like my part-time gig, which was super fun. I really enjoyed that. So I think that was also, one thing that kind of led me to start CrossFit, but we can get to that at a later question.
Well, we can get to it kind of now, but I think that actually is crescendoing nicely to you were coaching dance before you were coaching CrossFit. Is that yeah, okay. And how long did you coach ballroom dancing for?
I think about 3-4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Did like group classes.
Wow.
I did weddings.
Wow.
Or like bridal parties and things like that. So that was pretty cool.
Do you still enjoy dancing? Like, I mean, like we see you move here, and we're always having jokes about it, you and me and Fran and whoever else wants to dance.
It's a bit
But
of fun.
like, do you still enjoy it?
I mean, I don't do it anymore. I mean, there's definitely parts in my body that wants to dance and express that part of myself, but just not in the competition sense anymore. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the transition towards coaching and CrossFit. How did you discover CrossFit?
Well, I was in London at the time. I wasn't particularly leading a very healthy lifestyle.
Sure.
Kind of got to this phase of losing myself a bit, but I think I was unhappy where I was at, and I really wanted to start getting back into fitness because I kind of let that go for a couple of years. And I had a friend of mine who mentioned CrossFit, who was saying that, my body shape's really changed since I started CrossFit, and I had no idea what it was at the time.
What year are we talking?
Oh gosh.
It's obviously before us, so it's like 16, 17? Or?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It was probably when the first CrossFit documentary came out.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
One or two of them. Yeah. But yeah, and then I was on Netflix and I found the documentary on CrossFit and I was like, what is this? And I was like, this looks really, really cool and interesting. I wouldn't mind trying this thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later where I ended up moving over to Vancouver, where I tried my first CrossFit gym.
Right.
And that was really cool. I had a really cool experience. And from then I was kind of hooked.
So, I mean, just before we get even further into CrossFit, so Perth to Melbourne to London to Vancouver back to Melbourne, is that correct? What was in Vancouver?
It was just somewhere I always wanted to go.
Sure.
I think after London I was feeling a bit down on myself, just based on it was a challenging lifestyle. What I was doing was challenging lifestyle, and I was just ready to get rid of the responsibility that I had at the time, and I wanted to be a little bit free, and I wanted to explore nature and kind of get back to being healthy. So when I went there, the goal was just to be stress free, work a little bit, get my fitness back on track, and then bring that back to Australia, I guess. Nice.
Now found Charge, and if I remember correctly, was still working at Red Door when you came to Charge.
Yes.
And how did you find Charge?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, having first had a bit of CrossFit experience, this was the first gym that I kind of found, and straight away I was like, yep, this is my place.
Mm-hmm.
At the time I was kind of working at Red Door, but sort of in this period of my life again where I wasn't sure really what I was doing, right? So, but I really enjoyed CrossFit, so I was kind of pouring all my time and energy into that.
Sure.
And
No. I just think it's really interesting I remember these moments, obviously, when you first became a member, and I don't think I'd been a coach that long myself here before you became a member. And then I don't know when the sort of penny dropped that coaching was something that, we thought, or you thought, or we all thought together would be a really cool path for you. Do you remember the moment?
Yeah, I was kind of like, as I said, in that weird period where I wasn't really sure what I wanted, and I wanted to start exploring some new things. And I was, having my dance coaching background, like I knew that I wanted to teach people in some capacity, and I found myself really enjoying fitness. I had also done my Cert 3 and 4 way before I travelled, and I thought maybe I wasn't ready back then when I did it to start PTing, and I wasn't really enjoying the whole gym world. Gym scene just didn't really sit well with me. But now I was kind of like, you know what, this is a new area of fitness that I haven't really explored yet. I think I'm ready to kind of get back into it and sort of see where this could take me. So yeah, I literally sat down with Ash at the time and had a very, very frank conversation with him. I was like, look, Ash, I'm in this period of my life where I'm not sure what I want, but I do really want to explore this. Like, CrossFit's changed my life, and I guess setting me on a bit of a path that I want to explore. And then I basically asked, is there opportunities for me to sort of get involved in some coaching? And there wasn't at the time, but he offered me a internship. So we kind of did that for 12 weeks, and there was no guarantee of a job at the end of it, but it was just, I guess it was a good opportunity just to learn and grow and see if this is really what I wanted. And at the end of it, fortunately, there was a casual position at the time. So yeah, I got involved, and 6 years later, here I am.
Yeah, I was just about to try and spot you on the Legends board. So you must be not that far off being an RX Plus legend. Maybe 2 years, or
2017.
Okay, 2 years. Wow, that's gone. That's gone pretty fast. Yep. So, I mean, you're a seasoned coach now. Like, you've coached literally thousands of people. What is coaching? Has coaching changed for you in terms of your approach to it, or perhaps what you thought it was going to be when you first asked Ash, "Hey, could I get involved in this?"
I mean, I guess with any novice, you don't really see the whole picture until you actually step onto the other side, I guess, or get involved completely. So it was a bit of a steep learning curve. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that goes into it that maybe not everyone from the outside really gets to see. Just a lot to think about, and a lot of names in the beginning. That was very challenging, getting to know everyone's names. But
can I ask you at the start, what was the hardest part, apart from knowing people's names? But
I think having been a member first, I think I was most worried about, I guess, how people would perceive me.
Sure.
First of all, working out with them, and then the next day having to coach them. So it's kind of worry about that, but I mean, I didn't have to be worried about that. I was completely fine. And at the end of the day, it's really all about your knowledge and your ability to coach people rather than what you can do yourself. But I was very unsure of myself at the start, like I guess everybody else would be, and I guess over time you just build that confidence. So.
We were talking off air that there's some tricky questions to answer here, so I'm going to throw a few at you. So feel free to phone a friend or call on a lifeline. What's the most enjoyable part about coaching for you?
Everything. I don't know. It's a great career to have. I think I said this to you a long time ago. I basically feel like I get to come to work every day and hang out with my mates, but I also get to like coach them to move better, to be better, to improve themselves every day, and it's a really rewarding experience to have. So,
is it what you expected it? I mean, I feel like I might have asked this question already, but do you think? Did you see it becoming what it is in your life now? Like you're a full-time trainer with a PT book that's very full, and coaching classes and managing all the members at Charge with all the names and whatnot. Did you think it would grow into this?
I wasn't sure what it was going to grow into, to be honest. And sometimes these days I'm still unsure about what the future holds. But I guess I'm just riding the wave at the moment.
Sure.
Like, I've I was, and still am enjoying what I'm doing, and just going to keep on
Keeping on.
doing it. You know, yeah.
You've helped a lot of people here, and it's fair to say that we get, I guess, the position. It's like a bit of a privileged position to help people when they're struggling with some things. And for a lot of people, they're pretty hard on themselves in this environment. And I know that we've talked, like you've at times been pretty harsh on yourself as well. You're a high performer in everything you do. What have you kind of learnt from that experience, helping yourself through that, helping others through that? Yeah, that's the end of the question.
Yes, no, I've always been very hard on myself. I don't know, over time you kind of look back and you're like, why was I so hard on myself? Yeah, I guess, just you've got to have a little bit more belief and faith in yourself that you can do particular things, and sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah. And I sort of watched that transformation. It's been like a real joy to watch your transformation, your belief grow in yourself as an athlete, as a coach, as somebody like a leader here. This is not meant to be some cheesy promo for Charge, but there's a pretty unique effect that this place can have on people. Can you speak to that? Because we've both gone through it. So I'd just like to get your perspective on that.
Good question. Look, I don't know, there's just I guess you could call it, there's a bit of a magic here that maybe you don't necessarily experience in other places. And it's just I don't know, you want to be part of it, you know. I think the members can see it and the coaches can see it, that, you know, the leading group of Charge is definitely trying to do some really amazing things, and I don't know, it's just really cool to be a part of. We're changing people's lives, we're getting better every day, and I think watching everyone in the gym, you know, arrive every day, showing up regardless of how they feel, and just getting a workout in is cool. It's just cool to be in a space where everyone wants to just better themselves every day. So, you know, and when you've got leaders who also want the best for their coaches and also the members, there's some cool things happening. It's good to be part of.
Thanks, mate. We don't have any sort of let's finish with 10, quick fire 10. We're not professional enough for that. But is there anything, I mean, I know this has been a pretty rapid covering 25 years of your life in the last 20 minutes, but is there any other things that we haven't perhaps touched on? I'm looking at our list of questions. I've got, what does the future hold? Is there anything we haven't spoken about that you think would be nice for the members, just an experience to share?
I think one thing I didn't talk about was when I first walked into my first CrossFit gym in Vancouver, it's completely intimidating. And so I definitely can relate to first timers that walk into the gym, because I see people doing things up on the rings, they're throwing 100 kilos over their, people throwing 100 kilos over their head, and you're like, I've never done or seen this stuff in my life, and there's people in front of me doing it, and you're like, is that what I have to do? I think I walked in and there was a guy doing a ring muscle up, and I was like, first of all, what is that? And second of all, I was like, I'm never going to be able to do that. It's insane. But I think what's really cool, obviously, about the CrossFit is that it can be for everybody, regardless of your background. And you know, I said that a long time ago, but you know, I've been doing CrossFit now for 8-ish years, and I've definitely been able to achieve a ring muscle up. But I mean,
yeah, you have.
You know, you see these crazy things that people are doing, and anybody can do these things too with a bit of time and a bit of practice. So, I just thought that was an interesting story.
It's it feels like a good place to start a finish though, because the other day I walked into the gym, and I've been doing CrossFit for 15 years, and you were doing some back rolls on the rings, and I think I said those exact words in my mind that you just said about the ring muscle up. I was like, what the hell is that? I'm never going to be able to do that. But the beauty of it is that we're all on our own journey, and you can be, at sometimes you are the person who's asking that question, and other times you can be the person inspiring someone else.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Very cool. Ben, thanks for being on the Chargeway podcast.